Online, go to kzoz.com. That's where the SurfNet Communications poll question is. Yesterday, we were asking you if your dance studio that you take your kids to ended up having a cannabis shop show up next to it because it was legal now and they could open. Would you want to move your kids to another dance studio? This is actually happening in Grover Beach. This was a story that we got out of the news yesterday that Scott Taylor puts together for us every morning. And so this cannabis shop was approved by the city. Yes. They've built it. It's going to be opening in May sometime. And there's a dance studio next to it.
And the dance studio is suing the city now because
they're within 100 feet?
Yeah. In the ordinance, it says that you have to be, it can't be, it can't operate anywhere 600 feet within a youth group facility. Well, the dance troupe has many, as you can imagine. The dance studio, I should say, has many, many classes in which they teach dance to youth because those are the people that are dancing. So they're saying, hey, you guys aren't holding up your end of the bargain. Now we've heard all these rumors that, they were offered money to leave, blah, 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 blah. We don't know any, and we can't verify any of that. So we're not speaking to any of that. We're just asking you. If your kid was at the dance studio, would you, and Pot Shop was moving in right next door. Let's just say it plans out the way it is right now, and the lawsuit does not get won by the dance company. Then would you pull your kids out of that dance company? Because I got to think
over 80% of people are saying no, they wouldn't.
Yeah, I got to think that's the motivation for the company to file the lawsuit. Is like they're like, wow, there's a good possibility we're going to lose money here. Not that they hate marijuana people, because hell, let's face it, some of them might even be marijuana.
Now, somebody
people.
called in yesterday, and like we said, we don't know. They wanted to be anonymous, but they said they know the situation, and the dance studio was offered. The company that they lease from, I believe, was going to build them a new location. They were going to move them further away, but they wanted to stay where they're at because of the location. Like we said, that was an anonymous person that called in. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, this really isn't about that. This is more about what would you do as a parent? Are you bothered by the fact that a cannabis shop would be going in next to something where your kids go to do whatever? It doesn't have to be a dance studio. It could be, whatever else kids do these days. Laser tag. Do kids still play laser tag? Probably not. But...
Does laser tag even still exist? Rihanna writes in, she says, if anyone says yes to this question, they better say the same thing if they are asked about liquor stores. Liquor stores and
same thing,
dispensaries are the same. They're same.
They're both selling a drug. One's alcohol, one's marijuana.
But then I think it was...
one could be used for medicinal purposes, one can't.
Alcohol could be used for medicinal purposes.
Well, this isn't the 1850s, brother.
I use it for medicinal purposes on a nightly basis. Don't tell me that it can't be used for medicinal purposes.
I'm just saying. And now a lot of people are upset. Justin writes this, can't believe all you marijuana people. Shake my head. He's like, and then he posted a meme that says, not even once has he ever. Well, boy, people have this stereotype that it's like they're selling heroin over there. It's completely different.
Well, okay, here's the thing, though. If I'm getting my kids involved and it's an activity that my kids do, and
you're going to have this talk with your kids. They're going to go to school one day. They're going to be around.
If they sell Lunchables at that place, at the marijuana dispensary, then I'm okay with it. I don't know how it's going to shake down. Okay. Because the federal government still sees it as illegal, correct?
Okay, but without getting into all that, yes, they do. They have not legalized it. It's on a state level. So I don't think the state cares. Otherwise, they wouldn't have moved forward. But here's my question for you.
In other states where it's been legalized, there has been a fair amount of high crimes at these dispensaries because
Give me facts.
The amount of cash that
Give
they
me
have.
Facts. You got no facts. You're making this up.
No, there's complete facts.
Tell me what are the facts?
In Washington.
What are the facts?
In Washington, where I know of people who have had both operators of shops.
Yeah, you brought this up yesterday, Jeff.
Operators of shops, and I do it 2 different occasions.
Hey, where you know what your middle name is? Beating a dead horse. I know this. You told this story.
I know.
I understand.
No, I didn't tell the story about the guy I know who owns a dispensary and had everything robbed from him.
Okay.
And could do nothing about it.
And where was that at?
It was in Puyallup or something like that.
In what state is that in?
It's in Washington.
And is that anywhere near Grover Beach?
What I'm saying is,
I know lots of pot shops that have had zero issues in Washington State.
The federal government does not see it as a viable source of income. Therefore, you have to only pay in cash, correct?
I just think you guys are all hiding your kids for something that they're going to have to deal with one day. And so when was the first time somebody offered you marijuana?
Oh, God, I was probably...
I was in the 7th grade.
See, here's the thing, and
I said no.
And this is where I also come from on this one. Okay?
And you can't always be there for your kids, so it's good to educate them, just like alcohol.
Yeah, my dad was a gigantic pothead, and I got early exposure to the types of people that would come around his house. Now, keep in mind, it was highly illegal when he was doing it, so it could be totally different now. But I have built up my feelings on it from when I was a youth, and the types of people that would show up at his house, or the types of people that we would go over to their house and they would smoke their marijuana. I would not want my kids around.
543-3693. You can weigh in. It's the 805 beer text line. You can call in on that number as well. 69% of people said no, it's just weed, man. Up to 30% are saying yes. They would feel uncomfortable with it as well. 543-3693. Mary's hanging on. What do you want to say, Mary?
I just wanted to say that I would probably wait and see what kind of crowd it attracted, and then decide from there if I was going to pull my child out or not.
But what
and
if
I do agree with,
What if your child was in it right now? Would you put it on pause? Put your membership? Because I'm trying to put myself in the business owner's shoes. And I'm trying to think, okay, how do you mitigate the possibility of memberships leaving you? And that's got to be the problem that they're facing and the reason why they're opposed to this. So what would you do in the meantime if your kid was already enrolled in this dance company?
If my kid, I would wait and see what happens.
So
I don't like to cross a bridge before I come to it.
So you would keep your kid in and kind of keep one eye.
Crowd.
Okay, all right. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. What else were you saying? You were saying something else.
Oh, I was just saying I agree as far as, the one woman that said it's the same as a liquor store. I kind of feel the same way, or a vape shop, but it depends on the people that are attending that kind of a place.
That wasn't a woman. My name is Jeremy. I'm a man.
Oh, I thought a woman had wrote in and said something.
I think a woman did write in and say that.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to be clear.
I know the difference.
And I understand.
I am a man.
I totally understand that point of view. Because there are, and I think I alluded to this yesterday, there are convenience stores that don't even sell liquor that I would not allow my kids to hang out around.
Right.
But there are other ones that are liquor stores, full-on liquor stores that would be totally safe.
I just thought it was interesting. Micah wrote in, dude, by the way, and said that, convenience stores like 7-Eleven that sell alcohol also sell things that kids are into. So then I said back to him, I said, well, so if pot shops started selling cookies and Slurpees and popcorn,
yes.
I mean, that would be okay? And he said, no, not really, but you understand that there's something for everyone at 7-Eleven. And I'm like, okay, well.
Well, here's the deal. If they did sell those things, I would be more open to it because you never know. It doesn't matter. My daughter, she goes to ballet, and there's a donut shop by the ballet, and I have to get her a donut every time she goes to ballet.
Because that's a problem.
Yeah.
She does good in ballet. She deserves a reward.
Yeah. Yeah, so if it was a pot shop / donut shop, man, they would have quite the racket going on there.
Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. 543-3693 to get your voice on here. What's going on? What do you think?
Good morning, guys. Hey, it doesn't have to be cash only. They can gladly use Bitcoin. I would love that.
Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin still a thing? Because I felt like I heard it wasn't doing very well, and everybody was kind of talking about it around the new year, and now a few months later, nobody's talking about it.
Well, it just spiked up to 9,500 over the weekend. So
okay.
It's doing all right.
So it's just like everything else. It fluctuates up and down.
Well, it has no government or oversight to pin the price at a certain like a unit. It's not one equals $1 kind of thing. So it fluctuates. It goes around, bounces off of news.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the update. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I think Bitcoin would be money.
Anything is volatile right now, especially with tariffs and all that stuff.
If anybody was going to accept Bitcoin, I think it would be a cannabis shop.
Yeah, man.
Right? Yeah, I'll take your Bitcoin. And if you were really in need for some Bubba Gump Kush or whatever they call that, then you might want to give them a little bit more Bitcoin.
You think about it, at least the Bitcoin would be safe because it's not something that could be stolen like cash.
Get Jeff Stolberg here, StolbergLaw.com. Good to see you, man. Have you been following this story that we've been talking about with this cannabis shop coming into Grover Beach and some of the other businesses that aren't having it?
Well, good morning. Well, it's been in the news for a while because Grover Beach was the first sort of city or community here that expressed an interest in actually embracing the new industry. and creating a zone for it.
And really the only city, right? I mean, I'm trying to think. I know Paso's entertaining ideas, but really the first city to say, yeah, we're all in. We need, have you driven our streets?
Lompoc.
We need tax revenue. We need to fix these streets. We need to fix this
all
town.
in too. Lompoc is like 100% all in. Like,
Right.
But that's,
Well, I think the
in
city
Santa Barbara County. I guess I'm just talking about San Luis Obispo County.
okay.
Because you have the county board of supervisors who are, they've been wishy-washy on this process for the past year since it's been, legalized as a recreational drug. I don't know, in 2016. They've been back and forth, and they've been talking about areas outside of city limits in the county, where to grow, where not to grow.
I think when you're talking about something this big, it's good to have the checks and the balances in place. It's good. It's good that this is happening. It's good that the Coastal Dance and Music Academy is questioning the intentions of the Natural Healing Center and the city of Grover Beach. Now, I guess what happened was the state law says that a business can't be located within a 600-foot radius of an existing school, daycare, or youth center. Now, the dance studio considers themselves a youth center. That's what the lawyer is contending. And they're saying that they used a land use permit to permit the healing center, which is the dispensary, and accepted an incomplete application that did not include the proximity to the Coastal Dance and Music Academy. So they weren't forthcoming on their application, and Grover Beach did not do their due diligence in checking out to see what the actual space was between these two businesses, and that's what the lawsuit from the Coastal Dance and Music Academy is contending. So
Right. Well, there's a couple different alternative arguments at play here. By the way, good morning. On the one hand, the studio, I think, is saying that they're not allowed to open because they're within 600 feet of us, and we fall within the definition of an existing school, daycare center, or youth center. The city of Grover Beach apparently is taking the position that a private dance studio doesn't fall into one of those three categories. Mm-hmm. The other alternative argument that the studio has advanced, at least pursuant to the media, I haven't seen any pleading that's been filed or any lawsuit, but that because that this is here, that they're going to incur costs for relocation, and that it is incumbent upon the cannabis business to pay their relocation costs. Now, there was another article, I think, off of
the cannabis business. The dance studio wants the cannabis business to pay for their relocation?
Or the city, but it's somebody else. But arguably, if there's going to be a variance here, it seems like that might be implicated.
I see.
I don't know that they're saying that the city of Grover Beach has to pay for them to do it. Again, I haven't seen what's contained in the pleading that was filed with the court. We're just having a discussion over what's been reported in the media. It was also reported in the media that the landlord of the building that the dance studio was in previously offered, knowing that this industry was coming to that area of Grover Beach, to help the dance studio relocate, and that was declined. So it seems like there's an argument there from the other side that, well, they saw this coming and took a stand and said, we're not moving, even though there's a possibility that
but now
businesses
they're
may
suing.
come in thinking that that the permits would not issue, and now that they have, they're concerned about that. Ultimately, the statutory scheme and requirements for the operation of these types of businesses have been done in a way to promote public safety. It is much more likely, at least what I've seen in L.A. and San Francisco or other places where I've been, where they have legal medical marijuana dispensaries, brick and mortar places. I was up in Oregon in the fall, and they actually have walk-in recreational dispensaries there, as well as medical ones. And first of all, you don't see people loitering outside, and two, they have security. I mean, they require all of them. It's not like you can just walk in a door and open a door and walk in.
Right.
They have a manner where they check identification to make certain that you're there. I mean, that you're of age to be there. And if it's a medical place, that you have a medical prescription or doctor's recommendation before you're allowed entry. And then there's a whole other area beyond that that's not visible from the street or
and
the public, where the actual marijuana products are sold.
And on the news, they showed this place. When you first walk in, it's just you walk into a room, there's one window, there's a person that checks your identity there, and then once they have seen that you're of age, they allow you to move through to the next room is actually where it takes place. So it's not like you just walk in and it's all around you.
This has the potential, though, to be a pretty big case from the standpoint of to see where if it goes full term and they have to make a ruling on it and to find out and say, if whatever judge decides that this is an existing youth center, if it shakes down that way, how that would change things for dispensaries across the state, right? I mean, or has the potential to.
It might. Well, it would have to be a decision on an appellate level, a decision by a local court judge as to how to interpret a local statute and a fact pattern as between two competing business interests in that would not be binding on other cities or counties or municipalities in the state of California. What happens is, just from a purely procedural legal standpoint, is that let's say that the court in this case rules, it doesn't really matter for purposes of this example which way they rule. They either rule in favor of the city of Grover Beach's issuance of the application to this dispensary or brick and mortar outlet, or they rule in favor of the business and say that that the relocation that they're temporarily enjoining the opening of the medical or the retail facility, or that they issue an order that the parties must pay for the relocation cost of the dance studio, which is another alternative.
Yes.
Then one of the parties appeals. Well, the decision of the appellate court, where we are, is the Second District Court of Appeals, which is out of Ventura, beats down in Ventura, Santa Barbara. We would have a decision from the Second District Court of Appeal, which would then be binding in this district. That doesn't mean that another district court of appeal in another district of California couldn't rule differently. And then if there was a discrepancy between, they might follow another appellate court might follow the reasoning of the appellate district here regarding this case.
So in other words, this could be tied up for a long time.
Well, or not fully resolved. And remember, it would be fact specific. The decision might be made fact specific, or a appellate court might issue a very broad ruling. I expect that in the local scheme of the local court ruling on this would make a very narrow ruling that would be fact specific to these circumstances in this case. The other question too is whether the court rules and issues essentially money damages, saying, okay, well, the city for allowing this is required to pay money to the dance studio to relocate, or whether they issue some sort of injunctive relief saying we are enjoining this business from commencing operations while the balance of this matter is litigated and decided. Normally, a court won't issue injunctive relief unless it can be shown that money damages would not be sufficient to resolve the harm.
That's Jeff Stolberg. StolbergLaw.com is his website. You can always give him a call at 544-7693.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.